guys, what is going on today? Bojoa here, back again for episode number 12 of our Montreal Canadiens franchise mode series here in NHL 19. So if you guys wouldn't mind, make sure to hit that like button down below. We'll try to get above 100 likes on this video. Again, you guys are killing it on this series. Sorry if it's taking a little bit of time to get out, but I got a couple other projects that I'm also working on, so I'm editing like crazy and recording like crazy, so I apologize for that, but still make sure to leave a like down below, subscribe if you're new. Check out intotheam.com. Use code BOJO for 10% off your entire order. Winter is coming around, guys. It's starting to get cold outside. You're going to need something to wear that is both stylish and very comfortable. Definitely check out the site and use my code at checkout if you buy something. Should be a very fun episode. Should be a very long episode, knowing my history of trying to attempt to make trades in this game. So we're here in year number 3 at the NHL trade deadline 2 days beforehand. 25, 30, and 8. Worst record, I believe, in the entire NHL at this point, 58 points. It's not the worst in the league, but it's definitely down near the bottom of the NHL, worse than the Atlantic Division. But we have some players that we definitely are going to be trying to give away here. And once again, I did some pre-scouting of some teams to look for potential trades, as well as look at last video and your comments section. And we're definitely going to be trying some unique things, that's for sure, in this episode. So without further ado, guys, let's just start trading away our team and start moving some players. So we're going to start off with, I think, probably the easiest person to trade from our team. And that is going to be from the defenseman. That's going to be Jake Gardner. So the overwhelming support to trade Jake Gardner is definitely on the horizon. Remember, we signed him in free agency last year, only for like a 2-year deal at that point. 5.4 mil, right? 5.45 mil for 1 more year. 83 overall. He'll be a very good top 4 defenseman for somebody who's looking for to add, go on a playoff run. And I think I might have found a team that might be willing to do a deal with us. Now, here's what I'm going to say, guys. The team that's going to be willing to do a trade with us here, or what I'm going to try to attempt, is going to be a severe case of deja vu. If you guys don't know what I mean, does this team ring a bell to anybody? As you guys know, we have a very good history of trading with the Nashville Predators. If you don't remember, we made that crazy trade 2 years ago, giving them Carl Alsner, a second and I think a fourth, to get Nashville's first round pick the next year, and Nashville ended up being one of the worst teams in the NHL. And honestly, the way this team is looking, it very may well happen once again. Their defense is not going to be all, all that great. They still have Ellis signed for a really long time. Subban is 2 more years left. He's still probably going to stay at that overall, but Alsner still has 2 years left. He's going to be continuing to get worse. Ekholm might start to digress a little bit more. Schlemko, 3 years at 1.1 mil basically, so I don't know how good he's going to get. They're playing this guy for whatever reason, who's not good at all, it seems. And that's basically it. So they need some defensive help. Jake Gardner could definitely provide that to them. And if we look at the rest of their team, Pecorine is on his last legs again. 86 overall, 38 years old. This could be his very last year. He's still got 3 years left, 5.7 mil on that contract, but he's really starting to digress. His overall is starting to very much lower in overall. UC Saros definitely still could get a nice little boost to maybe become the starter next year for that team, but we took a gamble with them before. Who's to say it's not going to work out once again? If we're just taking a look at their forwards, though, really quickly, like I said, it's still pretty good. They got Forsberg, Tolvanen, Arvidsson, Turris, Johansson, Fiala, Kreider, Bonino, Sissons, Yarncroc, Hartman, Dowd, Deals. So they got some pretty good players on their team for sure. There's no issues with their offense, but the back end is definitely up in the air for this team. We're not going to get the first round pick for this year, obviously, because they could definitely be a playoff team. I'm going to try to get the first round pick again for next year. I'll see if I can add in something else as well, maybe like a 3rd round pick just to like sweeten it just a little bit extra. But I want to try to get a 1st round pick for Jake Gardner if all necessary. So I'll try this. Jake Gardner to the Nashville Predators for a 1st round pick next year and a 3rd round pick as well. Trade rejected, too far off. All right, I'll just take off the 3rd. I'll even retain a bit of cap for you guys as well. I'll retain $10 million worth, or 10% of his cap. Propose a trade, Gardner straight up for a 1st round pick. Trade accepted. We believe this transaction will contribute to our success here in Nashville, so we're accepting your trade offer. I really hope that works out well for us once again. I have a feeling that it very well might. I have a strange feeling that it very well might. So next up on our list of players to trade, we are going to go down to Philippe Danault, because we're definitely going to see if it's going to be possible to move him. Doesn't have a ton of trade value, so I think we're going to package some picks together. I might revisit one of the trades that we saw in the last video, but 81 overall, third line checking forward. Once again, he'll be a really nice third line center player for any team that's looking for a decent playoff run, who's trying to bolster up their bottom pairing a little bit. And I'm going to try to revisit a trade that was brought up in the last episode by the Dallas Stars. It was more picks for next year, so we're kind of building up picks for next year more than we are for this year. Once again, I don't really see myself needing picks for this year's draft. Maybe the following year, when we start to become a really good team and we're still drafting well, I think is something to look forward to. So I'm going to try to trade them a 5th and a 6th they wanted next year, right? So I'm pretty much just going to try to recreate this trade word for word. So we're giving up Danault a 5th and a 6th, and they want to give us a 2nd and a 4th for next year. And they also wanted to give us that defensive prospect, Nilstorp. He might take a while to progress, but low top 4 potential might not be terrible. So this is pretty much the exact trade that they sent us in the last video. And we'll see if this goes through. Philippe Danault, a 22 5th, 2022 6th for a 2nd, a 4th, and the defenseman Nilstorp. This is the exact trade that they sent us. Trade rejected is insufficient. All right, so they definitely don't want to do this trade again. Like, if they want to give me a 2nd for Philippe Danault, a 2nd and a 3rd for next year for Philippe Danault, just adding the 5th and the 6th just as incentive. Maybe I'll just take away the 6th and the 5th. Maybe I'll just take away the 5th too. So straight up Danault for a 2nd and a 3rd for next year from Dallas. Trade accepted. We believe this transaction will contribute to our success here in Dallas. So we're accepting your trade offer. Cool. I probably could have got maybe like a low 1st round pick for Danault if I really wanted to be crazy, but for right now, I think that's fine. I made the executive decision to keep Brendan Gallagher. There was a lot of Brendan Gallagher support in the comment section, and he's had a very good year. He's had a very good past couple of years on this team, so I definitely think Brendan Gallagher is going to stay here for at least a couple more years. I have to change Kakaniemi's player type. I will do that. Right. There's one more trade I want to explore. Some people might hate me for this. Some people might love me for this, but I'm going to see if I can move him. I'm really going to see if I can move him. Yeah. Philadelphia made that huge mistake of trading Carter Hart to Anaheim for, who was it? It was Jacob Larson, I think, in particular. It's some weird trade either last year or the previous year that they ended up trading Carter Hart. He's played 2 games so far in the NHL. He's 0-1-1. His overall might not be 79 overall, but it's probably more than likely close. He's definitely close to being a starter in the NHL for sure. I would like to get John Gibson. That was a comment somebody left in the comment section to try to trade for John Gibson, which honestly wouldn't be a terrible idea. It's kind of same overall as Price, 7 years left, but if we want to get rid of Price's terrible contract and the fact that he has started to drop in his overall rating, why not try to make a trade? Now, this trade will not go through straight up more than likely. Carter Hart's trade value is between the V and the A. Price's trade value is a little bit less than that. So we definitely have to add something to the trade. Maybe that 2nd round pick that we just achieved in the Philippe Danault deal from the Dallas Stars might be enough to get it. A lot of teams may be asking me about Carey Price if I decide to, if this trade doesn't end up going through. There will be a lot of teams asking me next year about Carey Price because teams need goaltender help badly. Some teams desperately need a starting goaltender, and a good goaltender at that. Carey Price can provide that for them 100%. It all depends on who I want to potentially get off their team, prospect-wise, to help out my team. Now, here's a question, though. Why trade Price when I could trade Vorobiev? Here's a thought. Anaheim doesn't need another goaltender. Because they already have John Gibson, who's fairly young, they don't need another, like, decent goaltender, correct? So why would I keep Vorobiev if I could just trade him straight up for Carter Hart, because he's a good prospect, but Carter Hart is already progressing quicker. And if I get rid of Vorobiev, I already have my new starter, and then possibly I could trade Carey Price in the offseason because teams will need the goaltender help, and I won't need the goaltender help anymore because I will have Carter Hart as my starter, and I still have that really good prospect, but who's already much quicker on or further on in development. What if I gave them Vorobiev, my prospect goalie, and a 2022 second round pick, the second round pick I just got in the Philippe Deneau deal, for Carter Hart? Because like I said, Anaheim doesn't need him. Anaheim took advantage of Philadelphia's ineptitude by giving away their best goaltender prospect, arguably one of the best goaltender prospects in this game in the world, for top 4, maybe top 2 defenseman if he actually even progresses all that great, which Philly didn't really need another good defenseman because they already had Provorov and Gostisbehere, as well as more younger defensemen. They didn't need more younger defensemen. They needed that goalie. Anaheim doesn't need the goalie, and they want these picks. Vorobiev and a second round pick that we just got for Carter Hart. Would that go through? It's still too far off. My pick actually has more value than the third round pick. I have a feeling we're going to be a better team next year. We're 100% going to be a better team than next year. I'm basically trading Vorobiev and Philippe Deneau for Carter Hart. Value is just a bit low. We can push this through. I think this is something that'll work out for our team, to be perfectly honest. I will give them Calvin Pickard. It's just a bit low because they're gonna need a backup goaltender for the rest of the year, and they're not gonna play a really crappy goaltender. So I'll give them Calvin Pickard as well. Throw him into this deal. So basically, I'm trading away my really good elite goaltender prospect for a better elite goaltender prospect that has had NHL experience so far this year and will continue to get NHL experience, which will probably develop into my starter, and then I can move Carey Price to further develop and better my team in the offseason, because I said there's a ton of teams that need goaltender help, and Carey Price will be able to do that. So let's see if this goes through. So I basically just got my assets from the Philippe Deneau trade, trading away Vorobiev, and then just giving them the backup goaltender that they're going to need, Calvin Pickard, for Carter Hart. Will this go through? Trade accepted. I am happy to accept this proposal on behalf of the Anaheim Ducks, and we consider it a done deal. So I basically just took my goaltender prospect that I miraculously got in the draft that one year, got the assets for the Philippe Deneau trade, and traded away my backup to get Carter Hart. And Anaheim's not going to bother me because they are in the Western Conference. I consider that a win in every single aspect of the book, because now Carter Hart's going to play the rest of the year on this team, and he's going to progress and get experience. And now I have Carey Price to trade in the offseason to a team that needs goaltender help and can get a lot back for Carey Price. Made some pretty weird trades right there. Obviously, we're not going to have the draft picks. We don't need the draft picks next year. There's no reason for us to have those draft picks next year, when we know next year we probably will be a good team with all those rookies coming in. So I bet you guys weren't expecting that kind of crazy deal at this year's trade deadline, but I think that kind of works out for us. Back to edit lines. What's wrong with Laval? Goaltender's legacy? Why? Oh yeah, because Vorobiev was our backup. Correct. So McNiven goes in there. So we don't really have a good goaltender prospect anymore, but that's fine. We can get one in the draft this year. For sure. We can get one in the draft this year, later rounds. I'll just make sure that I pin a really good goaltender prospect and keep my eye on him. And so we have him in the pipeline for the future. If we look at Vorobiev, obviously he's medium elite. Anaheim might have a really good goaltender duo in the very near future. Vorobiev has played really, really well for our AHL team this year. 8-8-1, a goals against average of 2.01 is phenomenal. Really good save percentage, really good goals against average, but I could not let a deal like that slip away from me, the chance to get him, because Philadelphia screwed up. Anaheim is definitely going to be a team to look out for in the future, and hopefully a goaltender doesn't like bite me in the ass because of that, but I feel that's a good deal. We got rid of Dano, got those assets, and just used those assets and our goaltender prospect to flip them to Anaheim for a really good prospect. So I think I'm done trading, guys. I think I've made my moves that I've wanted to make in this crazy trade deadline so far. I'm just going to put the last couple of players here that I definitely want to trade at the, if any team wants to come at me for any last minute deals. Paul Byron's going to go on the block, and we're also going to put, who was it? It was Byron and Lehkonen, right? Lehkonen or De La Rose? De La Rose had 2 years left, I forget. De La Rose had 2 years left, Lehkonen had 1 year left. Yeah, so let's just throw Arturi Lehkonen on the block as well. They're not going to get me much. They're going to get me like a draft pick at best for those guys. All right, so once again, just to give you guys a quick perspective on what our draft picks are going to be looking like for the future after that huge blockbuster trade we just made with the Anaheim Ducks, flipping our prospect goalie to get Carter Hart now. We still have our first round pick, which is going to be a lottery pick more than likely this year. We still have our second for this year. We still have the third, 2 fourths, 5th, a 6th, and a 7th. So this year we still have a pretty good good look of picks. And then for next year, we have our pick still, the Nashville Predators first round pick, which could be deja vu pick all over again. Hopefully they're a bad team. We still have our second. We don't have the second from the Dallas Stars anymore, but we still have their third, 4th, 5th, 6th, and a 7th round pick. So we still have all of our draft picks for next year. We can still definitely look to add picks for next year. A goaltender prospect is something we will definitely be looking for in the draft. So if I could package a bunch of those picks together to move up for a really good goaltender prospect that I see, I definitely will be able to do that. But other than that, I think I'm done here. I will just go back to the calendar, simulate. Carter Hart is on our NHL team. I'm very interested to see what his overall is because it wasn't actually accurate. So I'm very interested to see what he's going to do and look for our team. So let's simulate to the end of the season. We'll see if we get any last second trades to pop up here. My scouting, I need to do that. So let me just stop. It's going to be a long episode here. Arturi Lehkonen and a 6th for Marcus Foligno, Cotham, and a 6th. Michael Foligno, 2023rd round pick, 85th overall, an offensive defenseman. Where has he been playing? He's been playing in the QMJHL, so his overall is not crazy good. Low top 6 potential. Nah, Calgary, I'm gonna say no to that deal. No thanks. And I mean, because like that Cotham guy, he's probably not all too great. 62 overall, Harrison Cotham, no. No thanks, Calgary. I will just probably let Arturi Lehkonen walk more than likely. Alright, so the long episode is going to continue because now we have to start looking at our scouts and our draft class as well. So, looks like we're doing a pretty decent job. Our scouts are looking at potentials and comparisons. Yep, they're looking at potentials and comparisons, which is great for my scouts. They've been doing, it seems like they are doing a good job. I want to take a look at the draft class. There is a franchise potential player in this year's draft. Eno? Is that how you say that? I guess Eno. It's either Eno or Ino. Ino or Eno Sepinen. Playing in Liga for Vasan Sport. Power forward. Only 10 points so far in 44 games. Playing in the men's league though. A pluses on all his categories. A franchise potential player. Jeff Carter sort of player type similarity to him. Just crazy. Franchise potential. Wow, that's pretty ridiculous. A left winger too. Finnish left winger. All right, so a lot more elite potential players as well. There's another elite potential defenseman right there, Brent Varnasky, who looks to be going number 4. Guy Soro is there. Franklin Edmonds, left winger sniper. So some decent offensive prowess up here in the top of the draft. But that definitely drops off considerably after that. Andre Wall in top 6. So it looks like top 5, which we're more than likely going to be picking in, is looking pretty good. If we manage to win the lottery, I know the game screwed us out of the lottery the previous year, but if we get number 1 overall, we're getting ourselves a franchise potential player here. And we do have some gems and busts as well. Unlike last year, this is the first gem we're finding. Elliot Holt, a right winger. CS rank 182, playmaker, playing in Liga for IFK. And then we do have one bust here, Reginald Oda, 96th ranked player currently. No other gems and busts are being found though. If I had to look at just potential goaltenders, where is the best goaltender looking to be drafted this year? Ooh, that's not good. So the best goaltender prospect right now is Pascal Traverse, who does have medium potential to become a starter. Lionel Corbo also has the possible elite potential, so we are scouting him at the current time. And yeah, I think our scouts are doing a decent job, honestly. Our scouts are definitely looking at the top players in this draft, and they are going to be scouting for potential and comparisons. So they are definitely doing their job of what they are, and they've already been, you know, scouted and looking for these players. So I think I might not touch them. This might be the one year where maybe once the playoffs end, maybe I'll start to get a little bit more intricate with them. But for right now, it doesn't look like I might need to touch these guys at all. It looks like the scouts are doing a good job this year. USA West, would not mind to get some looking at those guys in USA West. So sending a guy to USA West would be good. USA Central is doing a good job there. So Aho and LeBlanc are doing the thing. Maybe we could switch one of them to USA West just to scout those 3 guys, which wouldn't be bad. Same thing with USA East, just to scout these like high-ranked guys, at least those 4, just to see if they're any good at all. Maybe have decent potential. Dell Leagues, only 3 guys pretty much in the Dell, so I can skip those. You could take chances on them. Yeah, NLA guy can be more than likely moved. Extra Liga guy can more than likely be moved as well. Yeah, so NLA, Extra Liga guys can be moved. Ebel, there's not really anything great there. SHL, yeah, SHL guys are always going to need help because Alanko really can't do it all himself. So SHL needs help. All right, so I just did a couple more specific scouts on other players just through the draft class itself. But other than that, I think my scouts have been doing a really, really good job this year. I'll definitely move a couple of those guys to other leagues as we get closer to the draft just to make sure I get like those later round players all scouted out. But I think we're pretty much good to go to get the rest of this season done and did in simulating. Honestly, like I said, I would like for us to lose a couple games to make our draft pick a little bit better, but we still should be roughly around the bottom of the league considering our point totals. But if this team starts to win a lot of games like they are doing right now, I don't know. This team's not a playoff team, are they? I mean, they're definitely not a playoff team, right? Okay. Right? They're not a playoff team? Maybe? We're probably a 500 team more than likely. No, we're not a playoff team. No, like I said, we're too inconsistent. We are too inconsistent of a team to be a playoff team. Yeah, draft class, that's fine. Yeah, we were just a very inconsistent year, but I think the moves we made at the deadline this year, I think are really going to help us out in the future because one, we moved Gardner, which a lot of people wanted me to do. We moved Gardner. Jelena and Jani, that's a good replace player, but we moved Gardner, which we wanted to do. We moved Deneau, which we wanted to do. We didn't move Price because we're planning on having him be traded in the offseason because we managed to get that huge trade for Carter Hart on our team, which honestly Philippe Deneau helped us achieve. If it wasn't for the Philippe Deneau trade and the assets that we got in return for the Philippe Deneau trade, we would have never had a chance to get Carter Hart at all onto this team. So last game here against the Islanders, we do pick up a win 4-3. Very similar record to the previous year, I think, 36-38 and 8. That record does look very much similar. But we do end off the year 80 points. That is not the worst in the NHL. So it looks like we are sitting at, let's see, so the Pacific Division was full of crappy teams. My God, other than the top 3 guys in the Pacific, it was bad. The Central Division was much better. San Jose was decent, I guess. LA was 500, but Vegas, Anaheim, Arizona was not good. So Arizona and Anaheim actually tied for the worst records in the league. So those are 1-2. Vegas is 3. We are 4 and Carolina's 5. So we definitely have a top 5 pick. Final point totals for the year. Jonathan Drouin, 59 points. So I think that's his best year to date, right? Yes, it is. That was his best statistical year. 3 straight seasons of 23 goals, which, you know, I mean, if he's pretty consistent. I would like that to be in the 30 range, Jonathan, if you wouldn't mind. I never changed Kotkaniemi back. Son of a gun. I'll do that after I look at the point totals. Gallagher, 56, 25 goals. Pretty much did what I asked of him. I'm glad that he's on this team, honestly. Just looking at his stats, very, very consistent. Even in the real life NHL, 4 very consistent years so far for Brendan Gallagher on this team. Glad he's on this team. I don't have any intention on moving him. Max Domi, 53 points. Not bad year for him. Kotkaniemi with 45. So he can get points, but I just still think that making him a playmaker, I think, will be the way to go. Making him a playmaker rather than a two-way forward for next year, I really think will update his point totals. And he actually ended up being a plus player, which is not bad. So +5 for him. Yanni Gourde, 44 points. Really good year for him. Not bad. 20 goals. Nikita Sherbak, he didn't get 30. He didn't even get 25, Nikita. You got to put the puck in the back of the net, my dude. Come on. I'm hoping for another good overall, like, statistical year from you. I mean, you had a very replicable year. You only had 13 goals last year. You had 22 this year. So your goals definitely are going up, trending in the right direction, but you need to put the puck in the back of the net more. Either that, or I just need to find you a playmaker that'll dish you the puck all the time. Sashin had a very disappointing year, not gonna lie. Only 28 points. Armia 22. Hudon 14. De La Rose 12 and 63. Byron 12 and 82. Bradzinski 6 and 26. He did have 5 goals, which is not bad. That's kind of laughing stock of what Senyshyn's totals were, to be honest. And then Lehkonen had 4 and 28. Defenseman totals, Roman Josi, 54 points. So I'm glad he's on our team because that is something we're missing. And if he can do that on a consistent basis, that'll be a huge get for our back end. So Josi with 54 points, Josh Morrissey with 21, Zaboral with 11, Mete with 10, Juleson 8, and Grzelcyk with 4 in 19 games played. And then finally, the goaltender stats. Carter Hart only played 2 games after making the trade over to us. So he actually is a 79 overall medium elite backup potential goaltender. So he is supposed to be playing on the NHL team. But Carey Price still took a majority of the games here for the back half of the season. Finished the year 32, 32, and 8. 3 shutouts, .919 save percentage, 2.46 goals against average. Carter Hart 0-2-1, so he didn't even win a game this year, which is unfortunate. Save percentage of .864, goals against average of 4.29. Kind of got fed to the Wolves in Anaheim. If we're looking at like his stats for this year, he played in the AHL. He played mostly AHL time this year. Went 10, 12, and 4, .916, 2.37, but then got the call up to the NHL where he should be playing his backup. Didn't get the stats that he needed, but I'm hoping that he has a huge overall boost in the offseason, and he will be our starter come next year for the Montreal Canadiens. Alright, so as we do that, let's take a look at the Laval Rockets. They are currently at 84 points. They have a record of 40, 28, and 4 with a couple games left in the season for them. So let's just finish up the regular season for Laval. What'd they end up getting? 2 wins, a loss, and then 2 losses. Alright, so they won 2, lost 2. AHL regular season has ended, and we do have playoffs for our AHL team once again. Good. Ryan Paling with 52 points on the year, so he'll probably be making the jump to the bottom pair next year. So he'll be on the NHL team. A lot of rookies coming up next year, guys. A lot of rookies. It's gonna be a very young Montreal Canadiens team, especially on the forward side of things. Gam Bordella, that guy who I picked up in free agency, actually had a really decent year. 51 points for him. Vademo 47, Yolanin 43, Fonstad 38, Bitten 35. Yep, defensemen are always good to see them as well. Let's see, so 27 points for Jelena, Pullman, Clayson, Cal Fleury, 16 points up to a 75 overall. Cederholm 71 overall, Romanov 70 still. Vulcan good, and then goaltenders Legacy 29, 21, and 3, .928 save percentage, 2.01 goals against average. Really good year for Legacy. Michael McNiven played 6 games, .932 save percentage, 1.81 goals against average. Not bad, McNiven. He's 71 as well, which is interesting. AHL starter potential, minor league backup goalie, which is where he should be playing. So not bad. 71 and 74, so not bad goaltender ratings. Just for kicks and giggles, let's go look for San Diego, because I believe that's where Vorobiev was playing for the rest of the year. So they have Ollie Eriksson Ek, who I'm not really sure of, but Timothy Vorobiev finished the year in the AHL for Anaheim's AHL team, 14-12-1, .919 save percentage, 2.31 goals against average. So his stats kind of like elevated playing in San Diego than they were back for our team, but still not a bad year for the AHL team nonetheless. So good year for those guys. We're gonna have playoffs in the next video. We made some interesting trades here today, guys. We made some interesting trades, and we have plans that are set in place for our team. Drouin's gonna be here. Kakaniemi is going to be here. I'm going to change his player type for next year. Brendan Gallagher will be here. The top line, as it sits, was more than likely going to stay. Kakaniemi is going to continue to get better. He probably should be a first-line player by next year, and the top line is going to be hopefully thriving more than ever. The second line is definitely going to need a little bit of improvement, I think. We know Max Domi is definitely going to be the second-line center, and I'm hoping for a bounce-back year from Nikita Scherbak. I'm hoping that he will be able to put the puck in the back of the net. I think getting another playmaker on that line to have really good passing ratings and help feed Nikita Scherbak to get him goals, I think will be something we're looking at. Possibly one of our rookies will jump into that spot. Maybe Lafreniere will be that guy. Maybe Cousins, maybe Poulin will be that guy. Who knows? Could be a lot of potential players that could jump into that role. I think Army is going to be a solid guy on that third line. I'll have to reevaluate a lot of these guys like Hudon, De La Rose. Senishin might need a reevaluation. Byron will probably be a good depth forward or the bottom pair defense. Free agency guys. I don't even think we need to go out and grab free agency players next year. Maybe like a couple depth guys in case of injuries. But for forward-wise, rookies are going to be taking over this team by storm next year, and they're going to be filling out the empty spots that are going to be in this lineup. And a lot of these guys are definitely going to be out of a job come next year. Defensively, it's kind of still up in the air. Roman Josi gave us that really good defenseman that we were looking for this year, getting us a ton of points. As you guys could see, 54 points was something that we really needed for our team. Best year that he's had in this game, simulation-wise, which is awesome. So I'm glad that he gives us the points. Josh Morrissey, I think, will have one more year of getting better, but then he might just transition into that top 4 role. Zaboro, Mete, and Juleson we have to look at and see how better they are going to be getting. Grizzlick will probably still be that depth player on our team as like a fill-in. Obviously that waiver pickup still really a clutch grab for us, but Belfoy will more than likely be making his way onto this team next year. On where he's going to be playing, I don't necessarily know, but he's going to be making his way onto the team, and maybe looking at some more defensive help for our team. Another young, maybe defenseman, offensive-wise, to help out Roman Josi, or maybe like a defensive defenseman to help out this team. Well, Belfoy is going to be our defensive defenseman, so I still think we need to get some more points on defense. So maybe looking into a really strictly offensive defenseman is something that we might want to look at for next year. I'm very interested to see what kind of progression Carter Hart's going to have. He does need to be signed this offseason, so we're 100% going to be able to do that. And Carey Price, we're going to be looking to move Carey Price this offseason. Not at the draft. There's no reason to trade him at the draft. This offseason. Maybe I need that offensive defenseman. Maybe Carey Price can get me that offensive defenseman that I'm going to be looking for. Maybe he could get me like draft picks as well. Maybe he can get me even more better prospects. But the way our team is structured right now, I don't think we need prospects. We need roster players to help fill the issues that are on our team. And the issues that are on our team right now on defense is an offensive defenseman that we need. And for our second line, we need a strictly pass playmaker. Somebody that is literally just going to rack up assists. Somebody that's going to give the puck to Scherbak or Domi, and they're going to put the puck in the back of the net. That's what we need on the second line. Hopefully one of our rookies might be able to do that if they grow, but we should get somebody who's already established in this league for a decent amount of time and get them on our team. So those are kind of the things I'm going to be looking for as time goes on, and I definitely appreciate your guys' comments in these videos as well as we look to really bolster up this Montreal Canadiens team. I'm actually really excited for these next couple of years of simulating. It's going to be really fun. But like I said, It's a long video. I thank you guys for sticking through it. Next episode, just to give you guys a little bit of an overview, we're going to be doing our AHL simulation of the playoffs. So we're going to see if we can get through the first round here against the Syracuse Crunch. I'll maybe do some scouting on NHL teams in addition to that so that we know some trade values and overalls of potentials for players as we go get closer to the draft. And other than that, I think we're going to be good. Then we'll just do a whole wrap-up, take a look at the awards and all that fun stuff. But very interesting episode for you guys. Let me know what you think of the trades. Oh, and I'll show you guys like all the trade deadline deals that happened next episode as well. But remember, just an overview. Gardner got sent to Nashville for a first next year. Deneau got sent to Dallas for a second and a third. And then we made a huge trade with the Anaheim Ducks, sending them Vorobiev, our medium elite goaltender prospect, the 2 picks that we got in the Philippe Deneau deal, and Calvin Pickard, sent him off to Anaheim for Carter Hart, is now on our team, and could be looking at chasing out Carey Price for the starter's job, and Carey Price more than likely is going to get traded this offseason. For what? Who knows? But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.